Hi everybody, I'm Bill Whittle from PJTV. We're here at CPAC 2010. One of the amazing things about being at CPAC is it's a political convention, people here talking about conservative principles, and it's a foundational belief in America that you can say what's on your mind without fear of consequences. Only that's not true for everybody. I have two remarkable guests with me here today. I'm here with Noni Darwish and Emil Imani, who have formed an organization called Former Muslims United. Both of you people are making remarkable statements on behalf of freedom. And before we start with your organization, I'd like if you could just tell us very briefly about some of the physical consequences that you have to deal with daily in terms of the opinions that you hold.
Well, there is a new civil rights group in America, and that is Former Muslims. Under Islamic law, we are not supposed to leave Islam. Being a Muslim is not a relationship with God, it's a relationship with the state. And if you leave Islam, you're condemned to death. Under the law, a Muslim can kill you, and he's forgiven. This is the law of Islam.
Both of you are now living under ongoing death sentences.
Absolutely.
Yes, that is correct. Apostasy is such a huge crime, such as well as honor killing, which interchangeably leads one to leads to another. And apostasy, once you're a Muslim for life. You cannot leave it. Even if you're a non-Muslim, become a Muslim temporarily, you cannot leave that as well. So it's a win-win situation for a Muslim. Once you're there, and then the threat is both in the Hadith and in the Quran that you leave the Islam, you're sentenced to death. So we have been harassed by emails, by phones, by places. It's hard to have a residential place to buy better. Just every time we have to look upon if someone is not following us. So you just put yourself in our shoes, how difficult that is.
And that's happening to you here in the United States?
In the United States.
Because you are simply trying to enjoy the same religious freedom that every single other American takes for granted, the ability to believe or not believe as you choose.
That's exactly
Absolutely,
correct.
and that's why we got together.
Well, that's shocking.
And we had to because we were all living separately, unable to realize that we must live under the freedoms in the United States. So we got together, and we are now empowered to speak out about this new phenomena in the United States, because Muslims are new immigrants to the United States, and we're bringing with us, unfortunately, some of the radical views that have been living in the Middle East for centuries.
Well, I want to get into some very interesting work that you've done, but very briefly, begin by telling us a little bit about this organization that you formed called Former Muslims United.
Yeah, we were formed on last September, and it's a civil rights group to protect our freedom to practice religion or not practice any religion at all. And we will expose fatwas of death, countries that support killing apostates, individuals that threaten apostates, and we have to alert America and educate America to this new threat that's going to take the civil rights of some American citizens.
Sir, can you tell us about the Freedom Pledge that you put together? Because I thought this was a remarkable idea.
In fact, we did send 50 pledges to 50 Muslim organizations in the United States and 111 individuals.
What did the pledge consist of?
The pledge was saying that we, as we are by the Constitution of the United States, have the right to life and happiness and pursue the happiness as everyone else.
Just as any other American citizen.
As American citizen. All we're asking you, the place on the pledge, to send it to us, so we were not going to be on the constant threat of death.
So this pledge went out to 111 leading Muslim leaders.
And only 2 people responded.
2 out of 111.
One was Zudi Jasser, a medical doctor, and the other one was Ali Al-Yamani.
And what did their response consist of?
They just signed the letter.
They just agreed.
Just agreed 100%. And
2 out of 111
complied with it, yes.
Complied with the idea that just simply that you have the right to live in freedom without fear of intimidation and just just the same civil rights that we all take for granted.
We asked them to repudiate all the laws that condemn us to death.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of these laws, because it's a concern of many American citizens these days that Sharia is slowly creeping into American societies. It's overwhelmed European societies. First of all, I think most Americans, if you ask them, would think that, well, Sharia is just mandated by Islam, that it's part of Islam, but that's not the case, is it?
No, Sharia is a very elaborate legal system that can put you to death for many things that are sin, not just crime. For example, sexual crimes for women, they could be stoned. Freedom of speech is condemned under Sharia. If you criticize the Prophet or the Quran in any way, you must be killed.
Now, you're not maybe killed, you're allowed to be killed, you must be killed, you're ordered to be killed.
Absolutely, and Sharia law, I wrote my book about Sharia law and its consequences for any society. It's detrimental. It's going to cause permanent civil unrest in every society.
But what we're seeing here in America, and this is generally how these things happen, is a number of small cases that seem relatively reasonable to the person who's not too tuned into it. It doesn't seem that unusual. It seems relatively normal. Yeah, well, okay. But these little small incremental changes is how it's happened, isn't it? We set up a little separate court for maybe this, or maybe a certain kind of food, or a certain kind of clothing, and then, well, we've got this in place, and now we'll add a little bit more and a little bit more. Do you see signs that Sharia is invading American culture the way it's invaded in Europe?
Absolutely.
100%. A case, for example, in Minnesota, a cab driver was refusing to have the passengers with 2 bottles of alcohol, and then having one dog in there, because they, in Islam, consider a dog as filthy, or
seeing eye dog in this case, or something like that.
There are so many others creeping, and then when the majority, the population of Islamic people growing, and then the community grows that, and there will be more demands, and such as that in the holidays, for example, certain foods has to be in there. They want to have their own holidays, totally different. It'll be almost like a government within a government. That is exactly what's happening. They're creating another government within the United States. They're already done to England, Netherlands, Sweden, and all. There's no question about it, and they're going through hell right now. And we, as a former Muslims united, have become united to bring awareness to the American people to listen to us. We've been there. We want you to understand what we have gone through and what the Europe is going through. So to listen to us, because it is for your own good. We put our lives in jeopardy for you. The least you can do is listen to us.
Well, I want to say, I know I can say on behalf of your fellow American citizens who are watching this, we deeply respect and admire what you're doing, and very grateful for your courage. It's one thing to come out and speak your mind, but to speak your mind under constant death threats and threats of violence and intimidation is real courage, and we're just proud to have you as Americans with us here in this family. We can also tell people, if you want to learn more, you can go to formermuslimsunited.org. That's your website. And you are keeping people updated on where the Sharia front is, basically.
Absolutely. And some people say Sharia is a religious right. Sharia has nothing to do with religion, because the Islamic State mandates that Sharia law, which is a very elaborate legal system, be practiced, and it condemns whole groups of people to death. That is not religion.
You have a right to practice your religion in this country, but you don't have your right to bring that religious law with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining us, and again, congratulations on the good work you're doing.
Thank you for
so much. My pleasure.
For PJTV, I'm Bill Whittle. We're here at CPAC 2010.